Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of 30 Plus Click. We're so excited. We're so happy to be able to record. We want to thank everybody who has made it a point to tune in to each and every episode that we put out. To those of you who continue to engage with this channel, who are sharing with your network, with your community, with your friends, with your relatives, with everybody in your circle. We just want to say a huge thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you. You're the reason we do this, and yeah, we love you. Did I get that right, Yo-Yo?
Absolutely, there's no way we cannot love upon our followers, on people that are very consistent, going back to our past videos just to listen, to get one or two tips to move on in lives. We love you, and you're the reason we come here because we know that you follow, you share, and you're like, keep doing this. We're happy with you.
In case you're just hearing our voices for the first time, we have amazing content that we've put out in the past. We cater to all genders. We have very insightful, very beautiful, wonderful conversations here. This is a safe space for people in the 30 plus click, and people soon to be in the 30 plus click. So feel free to go back, go listen to the playlist, and just all around have a good time. But let's now dive into today's conversation. Have you, if, are you in a season of waiting? You've done everything right. You've done what the handbook says, every 5 steps to get you to a certain point, and it's still not happened, and you're asking yourself, what next now? Have you finished the degree? Have you done the right steps? Have you just basically, are you at that point when you've done all that you know that you should do, and you're at the precipice of the next, and you're not quite sure what next? Are you asking that question? Okay, um where do I go from here? What do I do now? Is that where you are? Well, come onto the table, come to the front of the class. Let's talk. Take it away, Yo-Yo.
All right. And so as I listened to Max talk about this, there was this imbued empathy that formed in my heart towards people in this category. I think technically every one of us can find ourselves in this pool of what next. It can be in your area of relationship. It can also be maybe you just graduated from school and there's this silent subtle fear in your heart. What next with my life? Am I going back to my parents' house? Am I going to start hustling for job? Am I going back to that teaching job? Or you just relocated to another country and so the honeymoon phase is over. Now you're at the new country or new location and you've been looking for jobs opportunity, but nothing is coming forth. Or you just graduated from school. They've promised you a whole lot of that ground is really, really green. The grasses are all green. There is no brown leaves at all. In fact, you walk on the streets, you can pick gourds on the floor. You're here. What next? Or you're married and you've been waiting on God for to have children. What next? What next is a never-ending journey. It's a never-ending rhetorical question that you would have to find answers in word. Sometimes you would need to ask and just walk away. Yeah, basically. But some other times you need to, find answers from outside of your network. And so that's why we started this podcast. We can be your virtual network. We would throw out a whole lot of content that you would find relevant in whatever phase that you are targeted at our 30 plus click. So Max, we're going to dive right in. And so, talking about our new graduates that just graduated, whether they are in their countries that they've graduated or they have relocated to other countries and they have graduated. So, first of all, congratulations. It was not an easy journey. You made it, you've defended your project, you've submitted your last assignment. So, congratulations, girl. Congratulations, dude. You made it to the end. So what next? You have lots of options. So beyond graduating, there are different skills you can pick up. Beyond looking for the white collar job, there are different competencies you can build up. There is network for you to thrive in. There is LinkedIn for you to just create a profile. Don't get intimidated. The quick, easy sheet chat for that is to find somebody. If you have a desired role in your heart, look for that role, look at the person's profile, copy what you can copy, and build on from there. Look at the person's skills. Do you have those skills? Do you have those competencies? If you don't have it, please don't be shy. Hit a connect and send a request, a friend request to that person on LinkedIn, and ask the person, I just graduated. I want to build skills, or I want to build experience in this line. Please, can you connect with me for a virtual chat, or can I meet you up somewhere so we can have a 20 to 30 minutes conversation around how I can build my skills, build network, build valuable relationships towards my career. And so that could also be a good way to start. Or is there somebody in your community? Is there somebody in your church that you look up to in terms of his or her career progression? This is the right time to walk up to that person to say, oh, I want to have a quick conversation with you. Did you graduate from a school where you have reputable lecturers that their lifestyle and their progress you admire so much? This is the time to dress up and walk up to them and have that conversation. So look around, find somebody in that space and have a conversation. Do you admire working in a bank? Walk up to the bank and ask for the branch manager and have those conversations. You might not really be ready for that role or that position yet, but have the conversation so that that can keep you ready. Okay, so what next, Max?
So I have a totally different take from what you just offered, and please do that. Do what you said because it's important. It's very good. But as you were talking, I was just realizing and looking back on how I started my career, all those many, many years ago, and what I did. And honestly, I don't claim to be an expert in this. This might work for some people, but this might not work for a lot of people. But so I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not a career coach or a life coach. Um, I'm here to motivate you and to encourage you to try, right? And so I'm just gonna throw it back to when I first started out. And I think the first point I would make would be to not be afraid to start small. Um, like when we're going to school, we imagine that when we graduate, we'll get a position based on our degrees. We'll get the nice salary, we'll be able to have a family moving forward. Many times you find out that what you're taught in school versus what is equatable in real life probably do not match. If you were not the student who were taking internships while you were in school, you need to be open to take those internships now that you're graduated. Why is that? Why did I say that? Because you need to learn, build practical skills, and be able to grow. It's quite important for you to have those valuable skills because sometimes translating theory to practical just doesn't work out. You need to get that street smarts of how things are done in the real world. We're not talking about who has the most knowledge on theory of this and that and the other now. We're talking about who has the ability to translate the theory of this and that and the other into bank, And so you need to be able to be honest with yourself and say, hey, I'm willing to start small. I remember when I started small, I told my boss at the time, and please don't do this because economy is hard now. This was many years ago. But I told my boss at the time, I don't mind if you don't pay me, but I want to learn, right? I really want to learn. I really want to grow. This is because I didn't have that skill before coming out. And fortunately, I had a boss who didn't believe in not rewarding labor. And so I was put on minimum wage, which is great. It was just enough wage for me to be able to go to work each morning. When I look back now, I don't know how I did that, but this is what happened, right? I had minimum wage to be able to show up every day at work. And sometimes I thank God that we don't look like what we go through, because when you see me back then, I look good. I wake up, I dress up in my nice little outfit, and I am carrying my bag, and I'm going to work. And you probably think I earn a big buck. I did not. But what that taught me was when I got into that setting, what I ended up doing now in reality had nothing to do with what I read in school. Because I got into a space and I started to figure out what exactly was I good at. There was a company of people that were excellent, that were doing wonderfully well within their space. And I probably touched on this story in an earlier episode. Go link back to it if you want to, hear about that. Um, and people were fabulous, fabulous writers, fabulous political analysis, fabulous in all front. And I was trying to figure out where I fit in, what could be my niche and what I was good at. And this brings me to my second point, right? Many of you might not end up studying, being in the space where your degree came from. It's okay. And I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. It's okay to take the time to figure out what you're good at and what you want to do moving forward. I didn't end up doing what my degree was for. If you're a doctor, and all of that stuff, okay, fine, 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 fine. I'm not asking you to throw away your degree. Please don't miss it. Don't clip this and misinterpret it and say I said what I didn't say. Hear me. Okay. Find what you're good at when you get into those spaces. Find your niche, because your ability to stay relevant within an organization or within a corporate space or within your work or within anything that you're doing really is your ability to bring value, and find your niche. If you find that your niche is not within the degree that you read, be flexible enough to, you know, be flexible and grow and learn and perfect that skill. You might not have noticed it since, but that could be the one thing that would make you so relevant and so big. I found my niche, you know, and it was something that nobody else could do in the organization. That made me super important to my work to my job at the time. And everybody asked for my opinion. And boy, did I spend 100 hours, 1,000 hours on YouTube University learning how to develop that skill. So that brings me to my third point. You need to be able to be ready to continue to develop your skill. When you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stop being of value. When you stop being of value, guess what? You get thrown out. So you need to continue to learn. You need to continue to evolve. You need to be able to be up to par with the current industry trend and whatever your industry is. You need to be able to learn the latest technology. You need to be able to be relevant. Be relevant. That is the key. And that whatever I don't know where it is gonna take you, but be relevant. Continue learning. Just because you graduated doesn't mean you be like, whoo, no more school. Life is a school in and of itself. It's consistent learning, it's consistent growing, it's consistent improvement. So, these are my tips for you. Be willing to start small, find your niche, and grow it. And I hope that, that helps you out on your what next journey.
Right, that's so good. And so, just to add a little tip to what Max has said, in a short time, just you can also call it volunteer. I want to share a little bit of story to a lady I know. She graduated from one of those universities in Nigeria. And so she had a place where she wanted to work. She kept throwing in her resume, but they said no vacancy. We are fully booked. Nothing, nothing. And she was like, okay, what am I going to do? She now wrote another cover letter to say, I want to volunteer for free. And so they're like, okay, if you want to volunteer, you can come. And so she did that volunteer job for 9 months. And after that, they offered her a position in that international school. And she really, really walked away up. She had opportunity to travel to United Kingdom through that school. And so if there's any industry that you're targeting, you can just write to them that you want to volunteer. And a number of employers, they'll be happy to, welcome you in. And when you dive in, remember to use the tips from Max. Show your skill, develop the skills, and try to stand out. Okay. And so, and I wish you well as you desire those growth and those upward movement, but never be afraid. Thrive and grow. Okay. And so, what next? To this other population of those that have done everything they can do to find a friend, just friend. But they think that's but it's not really working and they're so lonely. How can they go about that, Max?
Subscribe to the 30 Plus Click podcast on Spotify.
We will give you the tips to make friends.
But also like we're a community, right? And we can be a community of virtual friends. You can send us your comments and your questions and subjects that you want us to talk about. Maybe something you would have loved to talk about with your friend, but maybe you don't have one and you want Max and Yo-Yo to talk about it. Of course we will. So please, if you're like trying to find a friend and you don't know where a friend is, well, we're here. Subscribe to the 30 plus click on Spotify and become a member of this community. But yeah, beyond that, I would say continue to show up in life as yourself, continue to be authentic, continue to be warm, continue having energy that's inviting, continue to show up as yourself. I promise you that, you know, your community will naturally find you like the 30 plus click on Spotify.
Absolutely. 30 plus click on Spotify. If you can find us on Spotify, you can also check us out on YouTube, the same 30 plus click. We're right there on Twitter. We are also, which is my X. We're also there on Instagram. And also, you don't have to have too many friends, just one, like one good friend might be all that you need. And the truth is, I always like to have a balance. When you're really, really struggling to find a friend, why not check yourself? Are you a good friend in your heart of heart? So check yourself, do some x-rays and see what you can change about yourself, and so that you can also be a good friend and people will like to stick around you. All right. So thank you so much for listening to us today. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming back to our channel. We really, really appreciate you. I want to also ask one more thing: like, share, subscribe, and follow us. We'll be happy to also see your comments. So we'll meet next week and have yourself a wonderful weekend and a beautiful week. Take care and bye.
Bye.